Hello everybody, my name is Zach, and today we're going to be discussing a strategy that should help you win more games. Whether it's video games, tabletop games, sports tournaments, or any kind of competition. Now most of the examples I'm going to use today are only really going to involve either a card game called Magic or a Super Smash Bros. 4, which is a fighting game. They do apply to any other situation though. So we've all had this happen where where at some point in our lives we've entered a tournament or a competition, whether it's soccer, whether it's a Magic tournament, a fighting game tournament, or anything else. We've entered in there and we start the first round and we make a massive mistake and it just sets us really far behind. But rather than moving on from it, usually we tend to focus on it. We tend to think, how can I make that mistake? That's such a basic mistake. Why did I do that? Why did that happen? Perhaps in a fighting game, you messed up one of your combos, or in a game of Magic, you messed up your sequencing. And in those situations, your opponent was able to win. Now, in those games, there are multiple rounds, so you lose a round. Or say in a game of soccer, your opponent scores because of a mistake you made, and they're ahead on points. A lot of times we start to beat ourselves up, wonder how could we do this? Why did we let it happen? And rather than doing that, what you actually want to do is you kind of want to focus on, well, okay, it happened, then you just want to kind of move on from it. Or if your opponent's just really good, you just kind of want to focus on, okay, well, what can I do to beat this person? Now, that's not to say that adopting a mindset like this is the only way to move ahead, but you also, you still need to know the meta, depending on what you're playing, and you still need to practice. Both of those are still important. Now, to adopt this mindset, it actually takes a bit of time, and it uses a technique called mental reconditioning. So what it is say you're playing a game, and you realize, oh, I made a mistake. Okay, that part's fine. When you realize you've made a mistake, and then you just keep going. The problem occurs when you start beating yourself up over it, saying, how could I make that mistake? That's such a basic mistake. Why did I do that? So instead of that, just think to yourself, okay, I made a mistake here, how do I get out of this? What can I do to keep my opponent from beating me? Or if they win the round or that round because of it, just like, okay, what can I do in the next round? What can I do to improve this? And if it knocks you out of the tournament, well, it sucks, but there's always the next tournament, and you can think, okay, well, what can I do to prevent that next time? And you just have to catch yourself as you're thinking those thoughts. So the second you notice it, just think to yourself, well, this isn't helping me move ahead. There's no point in thinking this. Just try to actively, discard that thought. Now, it is something that takes practice. It probably will take about a month to get something like that down. I've tested these on myself. A few times a year, I usually participate in what's known as a pre-release tournament for Magic. You get 6 packs of the newest set, and you make the best deck you can out of those 6 packs. Then you compete for 5 to 6 rounds. Now, I've had tournaments where, I start doubting myself because I made a mistake, and I start worrying, how could I have made that mistake? It cost me the first game in the round, then it cost me the next 2. Magic games for pre-releases are played in rounds of 2 out of 3. So you're playing up to 18 games of Magic in a day. But so, I mess up the first round, I'm like, oh, how could I do that? And then, the second round I do worse, making more mistakes, and then just, it snowballs. Well, after trying to think, more positively and, just not worrying about so many of those mistakes, I've discovered I have higher win percentages. And even if I don't win, you still, it gets rid of, salt or feeling bad afterward. Even if you do lose, you can enjoy what you're doing more. So if it's a fighting game tournament, you can enjoy that. If it's a sporting game, if you're playing baseball, soccer, basketball, it's still a sport that you enjoy. So even if you lose, you're still doing what you like. And then for Magic, well, it's my hobby, so it helps to enjoy the hobby you're doing regardless of the outcome. Now, as I said, it doesn't replace practice, or in the case of certain games, knowing what the metagame is, knowing how people are going to play, or anything like that. However, it does help in addition to practice, in addition to knowing the game or what's being played, in addition in Magic to knowing your deck and everything you can do with the deck. Doing it on top of that does increase how often you'll win, and even if you lose, it can help you still to win in further rounds in that tournament, or even in the future. Now, I know this seems really simple and like a really basic thing to do, but it is actually a little harder in practice, and as I said, it does take about a month to get down. But I do believe that most people will see an increased win percentage if they apply this mind state. Thank you everybody for watching. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in our next video.